Prime. It was once referred to as a happy accident. Today, it's a logical target for cattle producers.
We used to think 2 to 3% of cattle would grade prime, and maybe we didn't know, we couldn't predict that. It was just kind of a random occurrence. I think what we've learned really in the last 5 or 10 years is, in fact, that we're today up 5 and 6% of all our cattle are grading prime on a national average. But we're finding sets of cattle, herds of cattle, breeders that have, cattlemen that have focused on that target that are able to achieve 30 and 40 and 50% prime. So levels that we really never thought were possible before, with today's genetics certainly are.
Data show most super high grading cattle excel in other production traits too. Long-held myths don't play out in real life.
We know, in fact, today, those are cattle that grow and perform and convert as good or better than your average cattle for sure. They're also they're heavier. So you can have that high level of carcass merit and marbling in particular without sacrificing performance, without sacrificing maternal function, all the things that we know are economically relevant to cattlemen as well.
When cattlemen sell on a grid, prime carcasses routinely earn $10 to even $30 per hundredweight over choice. That can add $100 to $300 per head bonuses for hitting the mark. Increasing supplies of the highest grading beef allow it to move beyond just the traditional users, white tablecloth restaurants, which builds more and more demand at both retail and food service.
You know, I think if we look at from a historical standpoint, we've doubled the amount of prime product that we've put out there over the last handful of years, and in fact, we've seen the spreads and the premiums stay just as big as they have been. I think what we have an opportunity to do is expose at that point a new customer to our prime product.
Farmers and ranchers who want to capitalize on the growing trend need to look first at the beginning.
I think when we talk about prime production, we think about marbling, right? And marbling is largely driven off genetics. We know that. There has to be genetic selection pressure put on marbling to hit these high levels. And so paying really close attention, not just to breed, but also what are the differences within that breed. And looking at the Angus breed, paying attention to that marbling EPD specifically and selecting those cattle that are on the upper end, the upper percentile. They're also hitting your other economic, that are also Cavanese cattle and with growth and performance, but putting an extra selection pressure on marbling.
McCauley also says keeping cattle healthy and on an increasing plane of nutrition helps them express that genetic potential. I'm Bob Cervera.